What is the best source to get your financial news? कोई भी आर्टिकल देख लो इंटरनेट में, किसी भी यूट्यूबर को सुन लो. There is one source that is common in 90% of them, and that source is Finshots. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have Pawan Kumar Rai, who is the co-founder of Finshots and the co-founder of Ditto Insurance, जो Finshots का एक venture है. And all of this is backed up by Zero Dha. Today we have him, और आप देखोगे यार, he is a trader who has turned into an entrepreneur. Stock markets खून में है. He knows completely the idea, and the best thing जो मुझे लगता है ना, जो best चीज मुझे लगी, इंश्योरेंस सबसे बोरिंग प्रोडक्ट है जिंदगी में, बेचने के लिए भी और सुनने के लिए भी. He has done that, excelled with Ditto Insurance, without spamming, without mis-selling, and creating trust. Finshorts एक ऐसी चीज है that people swear by. Today we're going to have him on the show, and trust me, this will give you goosebumps. मैं अभी पॉडकास्ट रिकॉर्ड करने के बाद इंट्रो रिकॉर्ड करता हूँ. I already have goosebumps right now. Watch this, you're going to love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to humbly welcome to the Goela House of Finance today, Pawan Kumar Rai. Pawan, how are you? Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you. I'm all good. How are you?
Very well. Pawan, बताओ मुझे आपकी स्टोरी में इतना ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट किया ना, because you got into trading, ठीक है? उसके बीच में आपने जॉब भी था, फिर आपका पढ़ा भी आपने, फिर that Dr. Reddy's incident happened, जिस पे आप बहुत bullish थे, but the markets turned around, right?
How did you get to know about that? Achha, maybe some other podcast.
Yes, podcast research. अरे हम पूरी रिसर्च के लिए बैठे हैं यहाँ पे. तो उसके बाद जो जर्नी वाज सो इंटरेस्टिंग, क्योंकि एक तो दो चीजें थी. एक तो यू मूव टुवर्ड्स इन्वेस्टमेंट, ठीक है, आपका ज्यादा बिलीव वहां आया, एंड यू मूव टुवर्ड्स एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप. एंड आज ना मैं स्पेसिफिकली दो बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज आपसे बात करना चाहता हूँ, जिसमें वी वुड कीप द मोस्ट हाईलाइट. फर्स्ट, फिनशॉट्स, जिसमें आई एम क्रेजी फैन ऑफ. सेकंड, अबाउट द इंश्योरेंस. सो आपको तो पवन, मैं ना इन स्टॉक मार्केट्स आई एम सिंस 2010, एंड अब उस समय तो बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम थी, और अभी भी है. इफ आई ओपन क्या कहते हैं, एनी बिग बिजनेस न्यूज़पेपर और एनी बिग आर्टिकल फॉर बिग मीडिया हाउस ना, टू अंडरस्टैंड इट यार, मतलब भेजे एकदम फ्यूज जाते हैं. मतलब एक पॉइंट के बाद यू आल्सो हैव टू read it 4-5 times to understand.
True.
So you found that thing and you made Finshots, मतलब which is the coolest platform I feel. So tell us that journey. मतलब ये आपको आइडिया स्ट्राइक कैसे किया कि इसको इजी करते हैं?
I mean, see, the moment you heard that Dr. Reddy wala point, right? By that time, I was already figuring out to get rid of this corporate life. That was my idea. Came doing something else, but trading was not working at all. You cannot rely on trading and thinking ki you will get a money without stress. That's not happening there. It's the toughest way to make money, actually.
100%.
So by that time, I realized कि भाई boss ये तो नहीं चलने वाला. The way you think कि ये इससे कुछ हो जाएगा. And that moment I realized कि maybe we have to work on something where we can, make up some company around it rather than doing trading. That was very clear, right? So yeah, I mean, if you would have heard the previous stories as well. So we started as a project. Like I was doing a project under a professor where the goal was just to increase demat penetration in India. So demat badhega, that means people will take interest in stock market, right?
Or which year is this?
2017. So it's not the retail boom what happened now. So ideally, see, the point is, I mean, these kind of investment markets, whatever it is, it's a FOMO thing. And what I'm saying right now, the retail boom that you saw right now, it decades old also things repeat. If you talk about 1991, when Harshad Mehta things have happened, if you get exorbitant return, why would you put your money anywhere else? Why stock market mein karte hain na? Auto wala, chai wala, everyone talk about stocks, correct?
Yeah.
So something similar happened in this pandemic also, right? Yeah. Easy money flowed, the liquidity increase, and that's something, again, people started going towards. But right now, if you see the RBI reports and all, it started coming down now. The active user base has come down. So the point why I'm mentioning this is when people talk about increasing demat penetration, it's as simple as that. You make it less lucrative you make it more lucrative than FD. As simple as that, because Indians believe more in FDs than stable returns, right?
True.
So by that time, that project I was doing, and I don't think it took me a lot of time. See, I believe in creativity. I mean, some amount of understanding I have. I'm not very creative, but at least I can understand it. At least something, this can be done. Maybe I'm not the best person to execute it. So by that time, I was reading the Economic Times, Manikado. You know what happens there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. Prabhudas Leeladhar and all that stuff keeps on, showing the name Edelweiss, showing some buy sell recommendation. That's what broker industry used to work. The traditional brokers that used to work, they used to provide their client with the analyst reports, right? Which
Yes. Yes.
is more or less of, I mean, when you have target price, that's of no use. As long as you're telling about business, which we tried to do with our first product called Finception. It's still live. If you see us, their website, it's still live. We just talk about business. We don't know what is the target price.
And I
Nobody
have to
knows,
say,
right?
Finception mein, I have found one of the best reports. Matlab, itni easy and it's like fun to read. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. By the way, if anyone's listening, you should definitely check out Finception. Yes, Pawan, please
Yeah.
continue.
So yeah, we still kept that website live, although there is nothing updated, just as a heritage. It's still in my AWS. I still pay the fees for that, so that I want to see that there. At least that was the first product. So we kept it live right now as well, and so that was the idea. I mean, make it something people can understand. Yeah, at least. कुछ तो So idea was to become a stockbroker, because see, when you think about a startup, right? The first question these incubators and everybody will ask you, पैसा कैसे कमाओगे? Idea was to make something understandable, but अब उसमें पैसा कैसे कमाओगे, तो अब कैसे पैसा कमा सकते हो? स्टॉक ब्रोकिंग करके भी कमा सकते हो थोड़े पैसा, right? When people invest. So that was the idea. But yeah, I mean, becoming a stockbroker is not easy. You need funds also, and being a student.
नहीं तो didn't you try taking a associate person मतलब full time तो obviously heavy है, but if you take like a AP sort of thing, आपने वो try नहीं किया?
What, sub broking model?
Sub broking model, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a very it just doesn't feel good. I mean, I will tell you, the point is, uh, when you go on trying, right, you genuinely have to feel that I'm doing something different. First of all, that's the first thing. अगर आप भी वही कर रहे हो जो सब कर रहे हैं, तो maybe for some it's makes sense, for some it might feel good, not for me at least. So I mean, of course, I'm ready to experiment. It takes time to do something different, but that's what want to try out, right? So sub broking was not it didn't feel good, right, at that point of time. So we were thinking at that point of time that maybe we will do license or something, but nobody was funding. Of course, why would somebody fund? And yeah, I mean, till the time I found my friends, they were ready to do with me, and we together decided, stock broking nahi kar sakte, right? So then what? I mean, how would you do that? So writing blogs is the simplest way, cheapest way, right? I mean, it took no time for us to figure out, and good thing was that we had a good writer with us. I mean, one of the founder who was Shahid, right? He was a creative person, right? So the writing part was sorted there. We guys would research and do something, right? So at least you can start something, because a major bottleneck when you do a startup, right? It's to start where to start it, because startup में एक चीज बहुत important है. People need to understand that. I mean, not sometimes. I mean, majority of the time, it's about people, more about team rather than just idea. Because if you have good people around you with good values, ideas pivot करके आ जाएंगे फिर से. You might go to a right direction. You figure out a right direction. Even if you have a wrong idea, you are in the wrong direction. You will figure out the right place and right direction with the right people. But if your values are not aligned, if you are still with not acting in a team way, आप सही आइडिया को भी गलत डायरेक्शन में जाओगे, which is something, a very important thing to learn. After the 3-4 years we have spent this, it's all about team. How do you even if your team member joins, employees join, whoever joins, right, you have to invest in them to take a new direction for the company or something. So that's not very clear. So this content journey was, very honestly, a lot of people say idea that we never wanted to become a content company. There was no such plan. We wanted to become a stockbroker. We didn't have money. We started with this content because the only thing we can do without money was content. And
Blogs
luckily
specifically, huh?
Exactly, we had a good writer, so we all started doing it. We were like, Bhanu was good designer, so he could make good infographic, and everything worked like that. So by that time 9 months we realized ki nobody will fund for this. That is very clear. Then we thought maybe we can do something in wealth management. Nobody
हाँ.
will start working. We had ideas, lot of ideas that we will do this thing. And then by that, all that, for a moment we also planned to become your hedge fund. That was also in the mind. A lot of things were there, but luckily a lot of things failed, and we were on the brink of shutting the shop. And meanwhile, one Jet Airways video went viral, and
Got
luckily
viral when the
we met the founder of Zero. And from there, this newsletter thing became a boom. Hey, why don't you try a newsletter? So, but yeah, I mean, back then Finimize was there, Finimize, and there was one more, Morning Brew. Yes, we had inspiration from them. We won't lie about it. We had inspiration from them, but we made it something from our way. Like, we would simplify finance. We won't just cover news, right?
So
So
if you had to explain Finshots in one line, how would you explain key what is Finshots?
one line, I will say you 3 words: simplifying financial news. That's it. We say that's it. Nothing else. One line भी
तो
नहीं है, 3 word ही है.
ले या तो follow the better. अब इसमें मतलब as in अब Finshots के लिए जैसे who do you want to target? या तो अभी आपका target audience है या फिर you want to go into niche, जैसे कि are you targeting investors, traders or general finance, or in the future you have some plans कि इसको और specific लेके जाएंगे?
I mean, very honestly, I will tell you. As I said, we never wanted to become a content company, and we never made a concrete plan for Finshorts. To be honest, we never made a concrete plan. If you really ask us, we would have done the referral models and everything. We should have started it. There was never the plan. It was always a marketing, arm for our products like Ditto, whatever we were planning for the future. Back then, so there was no Ditto, but we were there. We have to make a financial product, and this is our marketing arm. So till that time, that was Finshorts' role. And if you ask us, what are the target segments? And very honestly, I mean, uh, we didn't want to expand back because see, Finshorts operated with zero marketing budget, no money spent for ads, no money spent for anything till now, zero. I mean, we haven't.
No spam messages, nothing. I think the same is for Ditto also, if I'm not wrong. You don't believe in
Ditto
pushing spam
to
messages, calls, nothing.
yes. Ditto to chalo फिर भी we had spent in some influencer marketing etc. But Finshots के लिए तो zero है. It has grown word of mouth completely.
Yeah.
तो अब देखो point क्या है ना, अब जब लोग पूछते हैं question comes की target segment क्या है और आप कैसे करना चाह रहे हो, तो what I feel sometime having less following with a strong community is much better than having large following with diluted community. तो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि अगर आपको कम्युनिटी आपकी डाइल्यूटेड है और आपकी सब्सक्राइबर बेस बहुत हाई है, फिर भी whatever you are thinking to, let's say we run a sell a product, what happens on YouTube everywhere, people are trying to sell something, like the overall result will be diluted as well, because see, people look up to you, that respect is always there, right? So with Finshots we never wanted to dilute that respect. We let it grow itself, जैसा भी हो. कभी कभी 1000 सब्सक्राइबर वीक में भी आ रहे हैं, 2000 भी आ रहे हैं, we never budge. The point is we want to, but yeah, if you target segment maybe we want to target, we always make sure that the janta who are in MBA colleges, engineering colleges, the janta who are actually studying, right, who can make sense of these things, they should at least get. So we generally partner with these colleges. That's still the model, that how it started as well, but we didn't change anything after that. Maybe we have partnered with few, like you get Zerodha Finshots markets. That's few partnership, nothing more than that. It's more like a community driven thing.
It surely is, because I'll tell you for a fact, as a finance creator, Finshots इतना ज़्यादा exciting, और ये तो मैंने भी notice किया है, जब Finshots का news content आता है ना, तो I can see a lot of finance creators making the exact same thing on that Finshots. तो ये इतना ज़्यादा influence करता है. और this is such, मतलब ये एक अच्छा इतना possible कि everyone, it's a credible source, easy to understand, crisp. अब जैसे आपने बोला कि content creation was not your primary idea, right? It is a stepping stone. You can build trust and then you can venture out to new things. अब
You
आप
want to
देखिए
simplify
कि
things ना, you want to simplify things, तो कैसे करोगे? एक वेबसाइट ही बनाओगे तो उस पर भी कंटेंट डालोगे, तो दैट इज स्टेपिंग स्टोन फॉर एनी आइडिया, एवरीथिंग.
या परफेक्ट. अब इसमें जैसे अब फाइनेंस में तो जैसे कंपेयर टू 2017, next level content creation is happening, right? If matlab, I would say the current generation is
True.
quite lucky, काफी available
True.
है.
True.
So when you are overseeing all this, where do you see the finance creators on an overall basis, not to name anyone specific, are doing good, and where do you see that you might feel कि यार यहाँ थोड़ा better कर सकते हैं?
Finance creators in India is a very, very small segment. I will say hardly there are very few people who are actually making sensible financial content. We need more folks with, I would say more rationality and more in-depth research, because YouTube, everything is driven sometime by views, and for views you just get diluted, you just get divert your attention, you just go somewhere else. You don't get into the in depth, right? What Finshot does, right? Finshot talks about sensible things. But if you see why many news media avoid doing it, because with that you might not get many clicks, so it doesn't make a lot of revenue sense, right? So here everything gets diluted, right? So point is simple. If you want more financial creators to do something, you have to let go of views and produce a community, which is a long game. It's a long game. But in that long game, you can actually create a very good business model. I mean, having a YouTube is actually something that gives you a distribution. A distribution is very, very important for any kind of business.
True. And you're right. I think I personally मेरे साथ भी कभी बहुत बार होता है कि in that race you have to be consistent. Obviously, views because such quantitative ना कि figures आते रहते हैं, they tend to hit you. And हाँ, when you look back तो there are some topics जो मैंने लिए हैं which I myself feel कि यार इसका कोई point था नहीं. But you're right. So one has to definitely focus on the longer game more.
It's all about not exploring what to do. It's about setting what not to do, because people have very less time to actually know about what this person stands for. If you clearly said that,
not what to do, but also it's not about. I can just see that again. काफी interesting line थी वो.
it's not just about what you do, and what you want to do, what kind of things you do. It's more about what do you don't want to do, where you stand, right? What's your stand? People follow those who take stand. Okay, so people have very less time. Why do I remember Harsh, right? Why do I remember Pawan? What is that one thing that I would remember, right? So when you say कि मैं ये नहीं करूँगा, people will always remember ये तो नहीं करने वाला. This is his line, his or her line, right? So that's very important for any kind of business, because people don't have time to remember you. You're marketing anything, right?
This is very interesting. Yeah, this is something personally which is काफी take away. This is actually very very interesting. अब लॉन्ग टर्म की बात करें तो इंश्योरेंस तो देखो इसमें आना ही है, ठीक है. आई वाज रीडिंग गोइंग थ्रू योर इंस्टाग्राम प्रोफाइल एंड आई थिंक 15-20 वीक्स अगो यू हैड बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग, आई थिंक आपका लिंक्डइन पोस्ट आपने उसका स्क्रीनशॉट लेके इंस्टाग्राम पे डाला हुआ था. इज दैट व्हेन यू स्टार्टेड तो सबने बोला था कि इंश्योरेंस, क्योंकि इंश्योरेंस मतलब बोरियत सबके आंखों में, राइट? और कैसे उस प्रोडक्ट को सेल करोगे विदाउट कोल्ड कॉलिंग, विदाउट pushing insurance down people's throat, and your sales have gone 20x, your team has gone 10x, and this was 15-20 weeks ago. So I'm sure abhi situation would be even better. So अब इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर में पापा मैं बताता हूँ कि मैं खुद, ठीक है, एंड अब आई वुड कम इन द कैटेगरी जिसको आइडिया है फाइनेंस का, राइट? तो ऑब्वियसली मैं जो भी प्रोडक्ट लूंगा सोच के लूंगा. तो 3-4 साल पहले आई वाज गोइंग फॉर टर्म इंश्योरेंस, ठीक है, आई वोंट नेम द ब्रांड. तो मैं वहां से लिया, तो मैंने सब फाइल कर लिया. एंड में मुझे बाद में पता चला एक क्लॉज पढ़ के कि एक्सीडेंटल इंश्योरेंस इज नॉट इंक्लूडेड, उसके लिए कोई और पैकेज है. और इट टेक्स सो मच ऑफ टाइम टू स्टडी द इंश्योरेंस, बिकॉज इफ यू वांट द राइट प्रोडक्ट एंड इफ यू वांट टू स्टडी तो अरसे निकल सकते हैं. सो हाउ डू यू थिंक डिटो इज मेकिंग दिस इजियर? व्हाट्स द रोल ऑफ डिटो हियर?
देखो, एक्चुअली ये क्या है ना, इट्स अ मोर लाइक अ क्यूरेशन प्रोसेस, ठीक है. क्यूरेशन प्रोसेस मतलब, अब लेट्स से इफ आई टॉक टू 100 पीपल, राइट, 100-200 पीपल, राइट, मुझे पता है कि इनको क्या चाहिए, ठीक है. लोगों को क्या चाहिए? अगर आप हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस ले रहे हो तो आपको ये पता है कि यार मुझे कभी भी क्लेम हो, मैं बीमार हूँ, कुछ भी मुझे हुआ तो मेरे को क्लेम मिल जाना चाहिए, नो क्वेश्चन आस्क्ड, राइट. नाउ I will, my advisor will start just, first they will explain what are the things there. But the main concern that you said कि ये लोगों के दिमाग में आया मुझे ये तो कवर ही नहीं था, we'll also talk more about what are things not covered, so that in future you don't feel कि अरे ये क्या हो गया. And see, in insurance also is primarily made by a companies and a group of lawyers who, of course have to see their own bottom line as well, right? So they can't be, they want to make a product, general product, where they can maintain the profitability as well. Now somebody who is already suffering from disease and could just buy insurance just to cover that, that is wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because you already know, and now covering that, insurance company will be at a loss, right? Now that is not good, right? So you cannot sustain a business. That business will be closed. So in that sense, you will always put a waiting periods or such kind of things, right? So the only way to make that subtle and very clear is to actually talk about footnotes more than the generic things which are not going to trouble you, right? आपको पता है कि यार मुझे, if I go for you know if my family has some kind of this thing, right, or that thing, maybe I could get diabetes or BP, right? If right now I don't have, I will, if I let's say I get also, so it's very very important for me to cover कि यार आप अगर डायबिटीज के लिए एडमिट हो रहे हो तो नहीं कवर होगा, you have to buy that certain specific plan. If you are saying कि no, okay, कोई बात नहीं, मुझे, मैं 3 साल वेट कर सकता हूँ, डायबिटीज है तो मैं 3 साल के बाद डायबिटीज रिलेटेड क्लेम करूंगा, right? So we will make you all that thing clear. Now see, अब the difference क्या, अभी भी मैंने क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं किया. क्वेश्चन का आंसर देखो बहुत सिंपल है. मार्केट में क्या हो रहा है, लोग बेच रहे हैं, सिर्फ बेचने पे ध्यान दे रहे हैं. डिटो में लोग बेच नहीं रहे हैं, आपको समझा रहे हैं, एजुकेट कर रहे हैं. इतना ही डिफरेंस है. आप जब किसी को एजुकेट कर रहे हो तो क्या करते हो, उसको सब चीज पढ़ाते हो ना, भाई ये होता है, ये होता है, ये होता है, कि मुझे एजुकेट करना है. आपको मुझे सिर्फ बेचना है तो मैं वो चीज बोलूंगा जिससे मेरा प्रोडक्ट बिक जाएगा. समझ रहे डिफरेंस? इतना ही डिफरेंस है, ठीक है? मैं इस वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट से जाऊं कि आपसे मैं वो चीज बताऊंगा ही नहीं जो आप बोलोगे अरे यार अगर मैं पूछ लूंगा इस एक्सीडेंट से तो लेगा ही नहीं, व्हाई डू आई टेल हिम. समझिए डिफरेंस? बस इतना ही डिफरेंस है. तो कॉल यहाँ पे घंटों की होती है, 5 मिनट में इंश्योरेंस की कॉल नहीं होती यहाँ पे, जो बाकी मार्केट में है. हाँ, तो वो डिफरेंस बहुत बड़ा डिफरेंस है. सर्विस इंडस्ट्री में आप ज्यादा डिफरेंशिएट नहीं कर सकते, बट दिस स्मॉल डिफरेंस इज क्रिएटिंग अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस.
पवन ऑनेस्टली बताऊं, अब जैसे बहुत बिजनेसेस होते हैं ना, तो दे स्टार्ट विद दिस आइडियोलॉजी, हम बुक्स में पढ़ते हैं कि कि कस्टमर फर्स्ट, एंड यू राइट, क्योंकि इंश्योरेंस में है क्या कि वो बताते, वो दे वोंट टेल यू व्हाट आर थिंग्स दैट आर नॉट कवर्ड, एंड सम क्लाइंट्स जनरली अज्यूम इट कि चलो ये तो हो गई, ये तो ऑब्वियस है. तो उसमें यू आर फोकसिंग कि नहीं यार मैं पहले क्लाइंट को बताऊंगा, बट डजंट इट मतलब कम एट अ कॉस्ट कि यार उनकी रेवेन्यू बढ़ रहा है, उनका सेल हो रहा है, और अदर एग्रीगेटर्स आर डूइंग वेल, यू आर लिविंग बिहाइंड. कहीं भी वो आपको नहीं आता कि यार फाइनेंस मतलब द फाइनेंशियल पार्ट ऑफ द बिजनेस.
बिल्कुल होगा, वो बिल्कुल होना है. मैं फिर से वही कह रहा हूँ, अगर आप YouTube चैनल चला रहे हो और आपका कंपटीटर और आपके सामने वाले का YouTube चैनल आपसे पहले ग्रो हो रहा है, तो फिर आप एक टाइम में बोलोगे यार नहीं चाहिए ये क्वालिटी वालिटी, मुझे भी ग्रो. समझ गए? तो पॉइंट बहुत सिंपल है, हु इज देयर फॉर द लॉन्ग गेम. आपको लॉन्ग गेम खेलना है या शॉर्ट गेम खेलना है? तो अपने लाइंस पहले ड्रॉ करो, क्या करना है. अगर थोड़ा सा ड्रॉ डाउन धीरे चलना है, बट व्हाट नॉट टू डू क्लियर रखना है, या फिर पहले ही डाइल्यूट करना है और जस्ट क्वांटिटी क्वांटिटी पे फोकस करना है. तो वो दो डिफरेंट चीजें हैं. आप बाहर देख के बहुत कुछ होगा. 2021 में सिर्फ फंडिंग की न्यूज ही आ रही थी, ठीक है, बट it didn't bother us much, another because we don't want to be seen like that. We want to focus on bottom line. Valuations are not that, you know, it's no, we don't want to be on that certain lines, right? तो हमारा भी business, 10x हो गया, but it didn't make much of this thing for us. But what we are really worried, not worried, we want to make sure that business is sustainable, and without I mean first year may operations are breaking even, so it's a big thing for us as well. And for any business, you are making sure that your unit economics is sorted. तो कॉम्पिटिटर वाली बात यार, अब मैं भी उस वे में सोच सकता हूँ ना कि भाई आपका ब्रेक इवन है क्या, पहले ये बताओ, राइट? आई मीन दैट वे में आई कैन आल्सो थिंक, राइट? So it's that mindset is completely, that comparative mindset is not there. Not even I do, and not none of our team members like to do. We are on our own blue ocean, maybe you can say that. And we want to create that niche. We are working on that niche. We are trying to become expert on these areas first, rather than focusing on just growth. वो नहीं है, mindset ही नहीं है हमारा.
So don't you get pressure from your investors, who people who've put money in your organization?
Those who are investors have grown like that, so why would why would they do that? So the Zerodha itself grown like that, why would they do that? They don't bother about that. They in fact work on quality things as well.
Perfect. अब जो इंश्योरेंस पूरी इंडस्ट्री है, अब जैसे इंडिया में सबसे बड़ी चीज क्या है, दैट पीपल कंफ्यूज बिटवीन इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड इंश्योरेंस, राइट? तो एक इंडियन सोचेगा कि इंश्योरेंस भी होनी चाहिए, इन्वेस्टमेंट होनी चाहिए. So if you are
Actually,
trying to,
people don't get confused. People are making other people confused. Agents are making people confused.
ट्रू, हाँ, ठीक है. आई थिंक वो सेलिंग का एक तरीका होता है कि जस्ट टू ग्रैब मोर आईबॉल्स. तो द एवरेज टाइम योर टीम प्लेयर वुड बी स्पेंडिंग ऑन अ क्लाइंट वुड बी मच मोर rather than someone else, क्योंकि जैसे 5 मिनट्स पर सेल्स कॉल होती है, राइट? सो हाउ डज दैट जर्नी हैपन? मतलब वो तो फिर हो सकता है क्लाइंट तो हो सकता है 2-2 महीने बात करता रहे और आप उसको समझाई जा रहे हो, तो व्हेन डज दैट थिंक कि यार अब इस लाइन के आगे हम हेल्प नहीं कर पाएंगे, इस लाइन तक, ऐसा कुछ है?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You can ask any doubts. You can go ahead and see. Uh, the assumption here is on lead quality. Maybe the assumption here is कि lead कैसे आते हैं. So Ditto has a very high quality leads. Okay, who are also in a segment where they understand the value of time and the value addition done by any other person by imparting knowledge, by sharing the knowledge. So the moment they feel that they have their questions are answered, 99% will try, or I mean 99% in the sense who genuinely want to who know Finshorts, who genuinely have come through our journey, will buy from us, right? And it won't have a bigger lead time as such. Some थोड़े बहुत होंगे of course for few leads, but majority of them don't have that. So we don't have all these things. So ideally, if you ask us, whatever advices we have clear mandate, we have clear checks in place where if you are a customer, advisor will bound to help you no matter how many questions you ask, no matter how long. People have purchased after a year also, an advisor helped them.
Wow.
So all these things are sorted. And now I'll tell you, the point is here, a lot of people say, what is revolutionary? What is difference? Ditto is getting. So the difference is just very simple. Actually, to make things simple is very difficult. That is very clear to me at least. The values with which we work and the clarity that we have in terms of not being salesy, right, is itself a lot of difference, right? I mean, and the kind of professionalism that we have made into that we have shared and imparted in our entire journey with the customer, right, is right now I haven't seen such this thing in any of whatever people are doing selling insurance. So I mean, the whole difference I will tell you, क्या मैं नंबर दे दिया तो मेरे को कॉल आ जाएगा. That is experience of insurance. If you say insurance मतलब यही होता है.
हाँ,
नंबर दिया बस कॉल से शुरू कर दिया, राइट?
हाँ.
यहाँ वो नहीं है, वही दैट इज itself a big difference. ठीक है. Now questions can also be here कि फिर why it happens. And there are a lot of things you can ask in these similar lines, why industry works like that, because insurance यार it's kind of a luxury product. लोग का फॉर्मो नहीं है ना उसके लिए. वी आर नॉट डेस्परेट टू बाय इंश्योरेंस. उनको आराम से लेंगे या फिर दे विल बी मोर लाइक कि ओके आई मीन अनलेस इट्स सम इंश्योरेंस लाइक विच इज अ मैंडेट, वो तो लेना है. गाड़ी खरीदते तो लेना ही लेना है, राइट? वो तो डीलर ही दे देगा आपको कि डीलर ही करके इंश्योरेंस. बट health and term insurance, all these products, I mean, people take time, think about it
Procrastinate
more.
on this कि हाँ ले लेंगे, बाद में
Exactly.
करेंगे. हाँ.
Exactly. So that's why people keep on calling you, remind you, right, that hey, it's important to buy it. So that span starts from there. Okay. Correct. So so we haven't done this, and honestly some of the people might forget as well, but we want to draw a line somewhere, right, where reminding is different from spamming. You're getting my point?
True.
Yeah. So it's a tough line, thin line, but we have managed to scale it in that front, right? So
Wow.
it's very important to differentiate that. And it's a tough business to be in, because your marketing cost will just will take everything whatever you earn. When it's not easy to change that. The only reason why we managed to break through this because of our negligible marketing cost with our Finshots and everything.
Wow, the distribution system that you were talking about, that network that is gets
exactly distribution system बनाना बहुत important है. And distribution system में भी quality होनी चाहिए. Not just you have just made a distribution with a random ज्ञान without taking any stand. people will not trust you and there will be very less conversion. अभी देखो influencers कितने सारे हैं, आप उनसे पार्टनरशिप
True.
करते हो, कन्वर्जन सबके अलग अलग है, सब्सक्राइबर बेस कुछ भी डिफरेंस है, क्यों ऐसा है? For the very same reason, those subscribers are not anymore actively, following you or not very actively trusting you. That's very, clear thing. So same with Finshorts. It's a distribution, just a content distribution channel through newsletters, right? And people trust that because they believe what we do.
This is really inspiring and definitely Finshots वो एक credibility जो Finshots में generate हुई है ना with time, and me on a personal front also agrees to this. हाँ, I तो generally trust Finshots a lot. अब चलो Pawan, we going to ask you a last question, right? This question might be a thinker, so you can take some time. Is that one thing that you believe but others disagree with you in the insurance industry? ऐसी इंश्योरेंस इंडस्ट्री में एक चीज जो आप मानते हो बट दूसरे शायद आपसे एग्री नहीं करते, क्या है?
वही है कि हमारे मार्केटिंग कॉस्ट नेग्लिजिबल है. Nobody believes.
Seriously.
Because it's very hard. It's very hard. Because see, those who are in the industry can relate to that. It's a push product. Insurance is a push product. It's almost impossible to make it pull, but somehow we have created it. A pull. People itself coming. People have no idea. I mean, we operated such a low marketing cost from, obviously we'll scale and then things will change. But yeah, I mean, that is something, people. And also one more thing, people won't agree, a lot of Indians won't agree, how term insurance is beneficial for them. Now, I will tell whatever people will say कि ये तो बेचने के लिए बोलता है. इसको, you'll get something out of it, right? But trust me, people don't buy this idea. People only like कि यार मुझे अगर मैं मर गया तो भी कुछ मिलना चाहिए, नहीं मरा तो भी कुछ मिलना चाहिए, right? So those products, those crappy products are actually selling because of this very idea. When they feel कि यार मतलब 60 साल बाद मैं मर गया कुछ नहीं मिलेगा, why would I buy that, right? But they are not actually understanding कि what will happen. You actually want to cover the dependents. 60 साल के बाद आपके dependents भी तो cover हो जाएंगे ना. There's some earning and something, right? So a lot of Indians, I mean, if you pitch them in some rural areas or maybe some tier 2 cities, they will say कि अगर ऐसा हुआ तो जमीन बेच देंगे, term क्यों लेना है, right? They would have that kind of mentality. So I mean, these are few things. I mean, people won't agree.
So when do you think this is going to change? Because आपका point है, because I personally काफी business families हैं, मैं जानता हूँ, they don't believe in term insurance. And मैं तो मेट्रो दिल्ली की बात कर रहा हूँ, मेट्रोपॉलिटन की दे लाइक अरे बिजनेस है वही सेम प्रॉपर्टी है ये एसेट है वी लिक्विडेट दैट एंड दिस. सो हाउ डू यू टेक दिस? मतलब हाउ वाइड, एक तो सबसे पहली चीज व्हाई डू यू थिंक दिस इज देयर, ये क्यों ऐसा इंडिया में बना है आपके हिसाब से, एंड बाय व्हेन डू यू थिंक कि ये चेंज हो सकता है?
See, I mean, to be honest, change होने में, I mean, I still feel it will take a lot of time. I don't know when it will change. It's more about, thinking, see, people in India, if they are not calculating things on inflation, right, considering inflation in return, that is why these ULIPs are being sold, right?
Yeah.
That's so you can yourself understand it's more about a problem of education and, understanding the crux, getting into deeper, whatever you are actually getting into. So it's a kind of simple math itself, but I mean, it's just, I would say whatever happening right now, right? It's being sold on some stories, right? And it's very easy for anyone to get believe that without, आपके कोई चाचा अंकल हैं, LIC में कोई हैं, right? It's being sold through that. I mean, the LIC is selling ULIP since ages, decades.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it's hard for anyone. I mean, until and unless they think through it. I mean, okay, fair enough. Let's say if you don't have dependence, fair enough. You won't need that. But if you are, working on a environment where you have certain paychecks that runs your entire thing, right? Entire ship. And those dependents are completely, dependent on you.
Like you're the sole breadwinner of the family.
Yeah, then tax deduction and whatever premium you paid make a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, see, I mean, for me as well, I have one term insurance, right? Just because, in case something happens, ठीक है, whoever dependents are there, they will get something. It's very clear math. You don't know कल क्या होगा, नहीं पता, मुझे भी नहीं पता, right? Now, I mean, it's a different story. You will talk about selling this thing, that thing, but liquid cash is far more better than any assets. I believe that, right? So that's a different viewpoint. Okay, some people will believe, some people won't believe, but when it will change, I have no clue about that. बट या आई मीन
हाँ
एजुकेट करना इंपॉर्टेंट है. देखो मैं मानता हूँ कि एजुकेट करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. आई मीन कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स ऐसे हैं इंडिया में या फिर कहीं पे भी, अंटिल यू बिल्ड दैट नैरेटिव कि क्यों करना है, क्यों लेना है, शायद लोग नहीं बाई कर. अब इन्फ्लुएंसर्स जो यूट्यूबर्स हैं, देयर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम इज दे आर आल्सो ट्राइंग टू बिल्ड अ नैरेटिव अराउंड इट, अराउंड एवरीथिंग, राइट. क्रिप्टो के ऊपर इतना नैरेटिव चला, राइट, इतने से लोगों ने नैरेटिव बनाया, डेफिनेटली लोग ने बाई किया अभी. तो थोड़े नैरेटिव्स काम कर सकते हैं, बट डीपर पेनिट्रेशंस इट विल टेक अ लॉन्ग टाइम.
ठीक है पवन, थैंक यू सो मच. आई होप यू हैड फन, क्योंकि मुझे आपसे जनरली बहुत ग्रेट इंसाइट्स मिले आज. एक तो आई टेल यू व्हाट आई हैव पर्सनली पिक फ्रॉम यू. सबसे पहली चीज, वो जो लॉन्ग टर्म गेन का पॉइंट था ना, कि बहुत बार ये, और मैं खुद पर्सनली फेस किया दैट यू वांट टू डू बस वो नंबर्स चक्कर में, और वो होता है कि यू टेंड टू गेट डाइवर्टेड. वो बहुत मेजर था. एंड जस्ट स्पिरिट मैन, कि जैसे आपने शुरू किया है, एंड इसमें फिनशॉट्स का पूरा कंटेंट क्रिएशन जर्नी, यू हैव बीन इंस्पिरेशन टू थिंक. एंड डिटो का मतलब इट इज क्रेजी इफ एक्चुअली थिंक. अगर मुझे कोई 5 साल पहले बताता ना ऐसी कोई इंश्योरेंस कंपनी आएगी और जो इंश्योरेंस एग्रीगेटर आएगा जहाँ पे मैं नंबर देके मुझे दिन के 50 कॉल नहीं करेंगे या वो नहीं होगा, आई वुड नॉट हैव बिलीव्ड इट. बट डिटो हैज डेफिनेटली डन दैट. एंड द वे यू आर मेकिंग अ चेंज, नो, आई फील लाइक पीपल लाइक यू आर डेफिनेटली massively going to impact the better finance future of our country. So Pawan, thank you so much. I hope
Sure,
you had fun talking.
sure, sure. Same here, Harsh.